Hi friends, Dr. Ramadevi Papalu here, fertility specialist. Today I am going to discuss about the third party reproduction. Third party means whenever there is a failure of egg production or sperm production or failure of uterus to carry the baby, then we have to take the help of a third person. So if it is a egg problem, we have to take a egg donation. If it is a sperm problem, we have to take a sperm donation. If there is a problem in the uterus to carry the baby 9 months, then we have to take the help of another woman to carry the baby for them, intending parents. So this is called third party reproduction. There are various legal problems one should before entering, because third person is involved in the reproduction. So according to the ICMR guidelines, there are various forms to fulfill before proceeding with this kind of a reproductive procedure. For egg donor, there is a separate form. For sperm donor, there is a separate form. For surrogacy, there are different forms. So once the intending couple, the clinic and the donors, if they thoroughly, clearly study these rules and regulations and sign on an agreement, in the future none of the parties will face any problem. So if anybody neglects these procedures, then only there is a possibility of a problem. So if you know all the details, what you have to do before going for these procedures, it becomes easy for you to go through the procedure and have a successful pregnancy and delivery. So first I will discuss about the egg donation. Egg donation, actually who needs, why we need to do egg donation. In most of the cases of late, the external atmosphere is very much polluted. Because of the pollution, autoimmune problems, toxins on the ovary, we are facing premature ovarian failure. Or sometimes it can be genetic also, but external factors are playing a much more bigger role than the genetic problem. And some people, they have the oocytes, but they don't have sufficient number of oocytes to undergo IVF treatment and produce a baby. So premature ovarian failure or poor ovarian reserve are the very common people who need egg donation. Certain times, next is the sex linked chromosomal abnormalities, which can be passed to the fetus, to the baby, and create a problem. So any chromosomal abnormality in the oocyte, we need to donate. And some people, especially in abroad, people, same sex people get married, both men get married. In those cases also, egg donation is necessary. If the repeated failure of IVF, if you don't find any reason, in spite of all thorough investigations, then we need to suggest, why don't you try with the egg donation? If there is any problem, that can be eliminated. Some people who undergo any cancer therapy, in those cases ovary can be affected. They may not be able to produce the sufficient oocytes. In those cases also, egg donation is advised. In some women, especially in advanced age group, if they want to conceive, in those cases also, because pregnancy rate is less after 40 years and congenital abnormalities are more, and especially Down syndrome is more. In those cases also, egg donation is better to have a healthy baby and successful pregnancy. These are the indications for egg donation. Okay, once we have decided egg donation, who will be the egg donor? Egg donors are of two different people. One is known donor or another is the anonymous donor. Known donor is like friends and relatives. But in my practice, in my experience, known donors are very rare. Because whoever is donating egg, they have to undergo whole process like a lady who needs to do IVF for her own baby. So because it is a lengthy process, need to take lot of medicines, need to come to the clinic at least 3-4 times. So, bearing all these things, very few relatives come forward to donate the egg. So, 95% of the cases are anonymous donors. Anonymous donors, clinics will take from registered agents who can supply the donor. So, how do we select the donor? What are the screening tests we have to do before accepting the person for the donation? First and foremost is age group. Between 21 to 34 years is the ideal. And having already 1 or 2 babies is another important thing because their fertility is confirmed. And third, they should not have any general health problems. And we have to screen about the thalassemia also. In India, some people are carriers. They don't have symptoms. Because if the husband is also carrier and the donor is also carrier, there is a possibility of thalassemia in the baby. So even husbands have to be screened for thalassemia and donors also have to be screened for thalassemia. And we have to do all the communicable diseases test like HIV, hepatitis C, hepatitis B, any STDs, chlamydia. These infections we have to do blood tests and clarify whether the person is having all these problems. Next critical part is counseling. Counseling both the donor as well as the recipient, because after giving the egg, the lady will not have any relation to the baby. And after while taking, many people will get tensed, the recipients, because their genetic material may not come for the baby. So they should understand, suppose in a family there are 4-5 children, same parents, same atmosphere, same food, everything is same. But all the children born to that particular parents will not be the same, both physically, mentally, psychologically, and intellectually. So we need not worry, because you suppose in agriculture, the agriculture and the human science are almost life sciences are same. Suppose you have a very good seed, hybrid seed, but you put in a soil where there are no nutrients, no water, no proper support. Even the hybrid seed cannot become a good tree. Similarly, even if you have good genetics, if the endometrium, blood supply, nutrition, psychological status of the lady are not good, the baby will not be healthy. So that's why when compared to one family members, all are different. You have to take it only in that perspective, even if you take the donation. Anyway, 50% of the characters will come from the father. And rest of the things, it depends upon the environment and the nutrition what you supply, what the lady takes, and the supplements what the lady takes, and the psychological status of the lady. So many multiple factors are there. In my experience, we have done many umpteen number of cases egg donation. We never had any problem either to the recipient or to the lady who has given egg donation. Every time we take care of once the lady becomes pregnant, we educate the lady about the nutrition, because nutrition, what you eat, what you are. So whatever you eat, that is the result on the health of the mother, health of the baby. So we insist about the nutrition all through 9 months, and we supplement in a proper dose all the vitamins, minerals, proteins. We even give intravenous protein, because protein is very important for the development of the baby. If we take all these precautions and we do all the screening tests and counsel all the parties, we will never ever have problems. We can eliminate almost all the doubts, whatever you get in the regular process. So egg donation is a safe procedure. Suppose if you don't want egg donation, of late we can offer stem cell therapy, But it is not a definitive therapy. But once you have an ambition to have your own genetic material, you have to take some risk. No risk, no benefit, no pain, no gain. So certain things we need to try and see the result. So either egg donation or stem cell therapy, any one of these you can opt, and you can have a successful pregnancy and delivery of a healthy baby. So I told all the indications when we have to take egg donation and how do we select the egg donors, what are the screening tests we have to do, and another one more thing is egg donation. When egg donation we are planning, we can do fresh embryo transfer or frozen embryo transfer. If it is a fresh embryo transfer, we have to synchronize the periods of both donor and the recipient. Normally, recipient should get periods early, at least 2-3 days before, and maximum 1 week, so that the implantation window will be open and the pregnancy rate will be better. Suppose if we are planning for the frozen embryo, then recipient simultaneously we need not prepare. We can freeze the embryos, and afterwards separately the recipient can be prepared for the endometrium and do the transfer. Usually we do transfer around the 18th day of the period. So depending upon the option, fresh or frozen, we have to prepare the recipient. Stimulation to the donor is whether it is a frozen or fresh, it makes no difference. Almost all points I have discussed in relation to the oocyte donation. Still you have any doubts, please put in the comment section. I will respond. Okay? Thank you.